Elon Musk has really been surprising me every single day with the amount of damage he can do to our country, how corrupt and criminally he can act, and also how many times he can tweet. Supposedly, this guy's running 3 companies and a government agency, and for some reason, he's able to be on his phone all the times, posting very strange things on, again, the platform he's supposed to be running, but is falling apart more and more every day. And one of the posts that he just made was attack Fox liberal Jessica Tarlow for calling out just that, the horrible things, the criminal ways that Elon Musk is acting every day. And she did so perfectly by invoking one of the boogeymen of the rights that MAGA loves to freak out about. And if they actually cared about the story, they told the bill of goods they're always selling, they'd feel the same way about Elon. And that is why he was so upset. And we're going to get into that all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now I want to check out 2 Jessica clips, and we're going to talk about them both and then get into Elon's meltdown, but let's take a look.
Is that the best they've got?
It's certainly part of the conversation that I think Democrats should be having. And I would love to be here the day that it was announced that George Soros had been given access to the Treasury payments, and he was going to be running a bureaucracy. We'll call it Jew-Doge to make it George Soros applicable. And he was going to decide how many thousands of people we fire. He had a bunch of 19-year-olds that he really liked. Maybe they interned for him. Maybe they're just a Palantir kid. And he was going to bring them in, and he was going to change the way we run our government. He was going to move fast and break things like they do out in the Bay Area. But instead, your Social Security payments would be on the table. Your job would be on the table. Your Medicaid would be on the table. And you say Democrats are the only ones melting down. Is Senator Wicker a Democrat and I missed it? Or Jerry Moran, or even Marco Rubio, when he used to have a moral compass, 2017. Foreign aid isn't charity. It's critical to our national security. If you're so concerned about making sure that we stay in front of China, which would love to eat our lunch any way that they can, this kind of aid matters.
That's what Rubio just said.
Yeah. No, the program that he's talking about in 2017 is different than what is going on today. It absolutely is.
And anyway, the principle of what he's saying.
The fundamental issue here is that we have 3 co-equal branches of government, and the executive doesn't care about Congress anymore. Congress appropriated this money. They say it was an EO. Originally it was, but in 1998 it was enshrined by Congress as a law. You need to go through the proper hurdles. And there are plenty of Democrats who said, let me in the Doge caucus. They want to have conversations about things to cut. Maybe there are lima bean dancers in malaria in wherever that need to be eliminated. But you have, and just one more thing. They've blocked access to secure communications for hundreds of USAID employees who are currently in war zones. How can that be okay with you?
Okay.
So I wanted to play both of those clips because they're both great, but for very different reasons. And let's start with the political one. This is the flooding of the zone that we are seeing. So much from MAGA, like Jessica said. They're subscribing to good journalism because good journalism helps them do their jobs. They're not giving money to Politico or the New York Times, the Washington Post, or MSNBC like Donald Trump and Elon want to fearmonger about, but this is exactly what Elon is trying to do. This is what he's trying to accomplish. Show some spending that appears wasteful on its face and saying that is what Doge is all about, is trimming the fat, cutting the red tape, getting rid of the waste. I don't know why Elon sounds like that in my mind, but okay, but that's what they're trying to do, when in reality what they're trying to do is to intimidate government workers to leave so that they can install their MAGA loyalist and pretend that they're saving you money. When in fact what Donald Trump really wants to do is take your money and give it to Elon in the form of a giant tax cut paid for by getting rid of all the government programs that help you and I, regular Americans, the most. That is what they want to do now in the George Soros thing. Jessica Tarley couldn't be more spot on. The only difference between George Soros and Elon Musk is about $400 billion, if everyone wants to make comparison. Elon Musk is the richest man in the history of the world. The amount that he can spend and has spent versus George Soros is just incomprehensible. Elon spent $44 billion to own Twitter so he could help Republicans. I don't think there's been $44 billion spent on U.S. elections in history now. I could be wrong about that, but $44 billion, and they gave Trump $300 million. Are you serious? It is incomparable, and that is why it is so ridiculous that Republicans are just going along with this. What happened to the populism party? What happened to holding Big Tuck accountable? Clearly they don't care, but clearly it upset Elon because he posted this. So Elon posted this picture, a screenshot. It seems like he was watching Fox and likes to hear them talk about him. And the Chiron reads, Doge derangement syndrome. Does the man not understand that it's not derangement syndrome? When a journalist, and when I say journalist, I don't mean anyone else on that panel besides Jessica, certainly not Jesse Waters. Let's be real here. When a journalist points out that you are breaking the law, he is breaking the law. It is illegal what he is doing. They're being so being sued. I can barely talk. It's so upsetting by federal employees. They're losing lawsuits already. Why? Because they're committing crimes. They're committing crimes. And Elon has hired a bunch of teenagers to help him do it. I know I'm getting a little frazzled and flustered right now, but it is crazy. And the idea that we are the crazy ones for pointing out their criminality and corruption, rather than the fact that it's MAGA that's crazy for allowing this to happen, blows my mind. And I brought up those 19-year-olds, those 18-year-olds, those 22-year-olds, those 25-year-olds who are working for Elon. A really shocking story came out about one of them that I want us to check out. Chris Hayes did a great story on it, but there's something else I want to talk about on that note. But first, let's check it out.
This Republican moral panic has given most Americans a wildly incorrect notion of the scale of just trans life in America. So in 2022, YouGov polled 1,000 Americans, found they really tend to vastly overestimate the size of basically every minority group, including the proportion of people who are transgender. Respondents guessed more than a fifth of the country was trans. The true estimate is 0.6%.
I am here today as the mother of a proud trans man. I am here today as the aunt of a proud trans man. My best friend's kid is trans, and my kid's best friend is trans.
There are far, far fewer transgender Americans than the far right wants you to think there are.
I am not surprised that some Elon fanboy who he hired to work for Doge is a bad person or posted some racist stuff or some weird things. It's not a shock. What is shocking to me is that there have been videos posted of these young guys who are working for Elon, making them being like, it seems like a lot of them are some high achieving, smart guys, good experience. Probably like the type of people we would want in government, right? Not this kid, obviously, that we just watched the video about, but there's one specific kid who I think he's 22. He dropped out of college because he won some $700,000 prize for helping to decipher some words on an ancient scroll. Is a whole lot of stuff used AI, very smart kid. Obviously, we should want him in the government. So that is a person that you want. That is not a person who I want to have my social security number. That is not a person who should be given security clearance without a background check. That is not a person who should be able to unilaterally eliminate government agencies because the richest man in the world told to me could. Like, I'm 22 years old. I think I'm smart enough. I do not think that I alone should have the power of the U.S. Congress. I don't care if the kid is a bad guy, is a good guy. If he said nice things on Twitter, if he said racist things on Twitter, obviously that's terrible. I don't want a 22-year-old in charge of the Treasury because he's buddies with Elon or said some nice things about Adam. That is absurd. It is not about good or evil. It is about right and wrong. We have laws. If Joe Biden appointed me to pick agencies I did not like and be like, Joe, you got to scrap that one. I would hope you would say that is bad, and you would, because there is right and there is wrong. There are laws, and then there's Elon Musk, the richest man in the history of the world, who gave more money to any PO political candidate in a single election than ever before, is also the biggest government contractor and now gets to be shadow president. That is wrong. That is wrong. I know I'm kind of going off today, but this one especially got me. It is not that the person is bad. It is what they are doing that is bad. You cannot sell me on this. I'm going to wrap up with this because it's just been on my mind. This has been a long video. I appreciate you sticking around there, all these MAGA influencers and even Republican senators as well who talk about Trump as this guy when he's behind the scenes. He's different. He's so nice, tells jokes. He's a really cool guy. It's not how the media portrays him. And it's John, love it over at Pod Save America, who makes this joke about it that I like. Have you ever seen a villain in a movie? It's like people don't walk, like bad people don't walk around like, I don't know, with like a monocle in and like a dark shadow like following them, and they're dressed in all black and like there's theme music, like the Jaws theme is playing behind them as they like walk around. It's like, yeah, bad people can pretend to be good. And just because Elon has this like, I'm a volunteer for the government because I want to trim the fat, like stick to him, it's a lie. People can lie. We've gone off on a tangent at this point, but it just drives me crazy that some 20-year-old working to help Elon Musk break the law. We only realize they're bad because they posted bad stuff. It's bad that it's happening. It is all bad. Wow, that was a long video. If you watched to the end, thank you for listening to my rant. I needed to get that off my chest. Sometimes I sit down. I like to be very honest with you all. Sometimes I sit down to shoot something and I'm just like, oops, I do not want to talk about Donald Trump. I am tired of this guy. That's every day. Sometimes I'm excited to talk about when people are fighting back against them. We've had some great examples of that lately today. I just had to lose my mind for a little bit, and I appreciate you listening to it. And if you enjoyed it enough and you want to support it, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you're stuck around at the end, you drop a blue heart in the comments. I really needed to get that off my chest. Thank you. Until next time, I'll see you soon.